Good morning, everyone. I come from South Sudan, the most troubled nation today. I don't want to give you stories. I just want to concentrate on my presentation because I'm aware that all the humanitarian partners in this room, we are aware of what is happening in South Sudan. So I don't need to give you a lot of talk about it. Before I enter to my 10 minutes, and I know 1 minute is already gone, while I'm giving the presentation, I want to pose to you one question about resilience. Urgent or important, but not urgent. Is it resilient? Urgent, or it is important, but not urgent? So think about this. When we interact, then we can get answers. The topic which was given to me is to link the lesson learned from South Sudan and resilience. I was born in 1957 when South Sudan already entered into civil war in 1955. So I grew in conflict from 1955, let me say generally, until 2005, when the country attained peace with the neighbor Sudan. So you can see from 1955 up to 2005, if the word resilient could have been really talked in South Sudan, is another question that you can also, then you come and blame us why your community is not resilient. So given that context on conflict, is it possible that a community can be resilient? We can share ideas in this forum or later. Second one? Yes, okay, this one. Okay. Right. South Sudan gained independence yesterday. Is the newest nation with a population of 8.5. This is debatable because when the census was taken, some of you must have heard that we protested because some areas or the census was not proper done. This is a political issue. It's not to our interest at the moment. The 8.5 million covered an area of approximately 644 kilometers square, and we border. Our main livelihoods activities include agriculture, livestock keeping, and fishing. These are the main livelihoods. The others, these are the main. Urban areas heavily depend on external, and you can underline the word external and link. If you have external, most of your food is come from outside. You can also easily link resilient with food security now here. Where are you getting your food? 98% income is drawn from oil, and I think all of you are aware of that. Risk and vulnerability analysis. Now, some ad hoc research, and actually this is very recent, was done in March, and I shared this with the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. More than 4 in 5 households, other agencies have different perspective. What is a household? How many people in a household? Sometimes 7, 5, but in between. 4 in 5 households are able to meet essential and non-food needs, which means the rest is no food secure. Even with any humanitarian assistance, now is not even with any. Now with humanitarian, at the moment with humanitarian assistance, because the country is at war, the food we are bringing from outside is not coming as usual, so we are dependent entirely on humanitarian aid. And I think 60% of the population at the moment entirely rely on humanitarian aid. Those who don't access the humanitarian assistance, there must be food insecurity problems, huge problems. The same group we have talking about has food consumption gaps with high or usual acute malnutrition. It is said in South Sudan, normally, under normal circumstances, 40% of children are malnourished. If you link food security and resilience with the conflict, because the children and mothers, they have been on the run since 1955 up to 2005. So you can imagine that gap. There has been a chronic food insecurity in South Sudan. 7, it is debatable. When my bosses saw that the politician, whom I think they will not hear me now, they were not happy. How come 7 million? How come 7 million are at risk of food insecurity in South Sudan? You're not telling the truth. I said, that's okay, that's the fact. If 60% of our food is coming from Kenya, Uganda, Sudan, and Ethiopia. If the roads are closed now, and our population is 8.5, so imagine that maybe 1.5 is out of the country, for whatever reason, displaced. So the 7 million are at risk of food insecurity. I'm saying at risk. I'm not saying that they're all food insecure, but they're at risk, unless something is done. And that's true. Today, we have 1.3 million people in South Sudan who are at acute need of food because of the current conflict. 3 million out of these people are in acute need. That was the time when I prepared this document. Now, factors influencing this, and I will dwell on this because all of us were aware, resilient and food insecurity, there are factors that influence. One of them, political instability in where we are now. We're at a crossroad in South Sudan. And before we appeal to foreign support, we should be appealing to ourselves, who is the cause of the political instability. We are not being colonized by British anymore, no Anglo-Egyptians anymore. We are alone. So this instability is within. Can resilience come from outside, or it is something that to develop inside the community? So this political instability is a responsibility of today's generation in South Sudan. There's no blame. I know people say regional interests, but regional interests came in after we messed our political situation. Drop in oil production, of course, because of the conflict, and this is where the 98% comes. Is now the production. The time I left Juba on Sunday last week, most of the oil fields have been closed because of the conflict. So you can imagine, now you link the conflict again with food security. Displaced population, we have over 1.3 million people displaced. Most of them fled to neighboring countries. And there is a very huge number of people living in protection camps within UNMISS camps inside South Sudan. Natural disasters, while we were managing floods of 2003, we entered into political instability in 2014. Rainfall variability, of course, early warning system included here because there are no capacities. So we don't even monitor actually the rainfall variability. Severe capacity deficit and weak monitoring policies. I think we can all agree there. I have to go very fast now. Solutions? Yes, end to the current political instability, not only this one. Anything that we foresee that can disturb our tranquility, we should have a political system in place. Establish viable and sustainable economic reforms, enhance Enhance, diversify agricultural production. We have been talking about this yesterday, even today. Strengthen community coping strategies. I think we're in agreement. Improve linkages between production areas and consumption centers. I think I should have not put this because we have no production centers to link, actually, to be honest. Key policies required. There's talk about this, link resilient with policies. South Sudan economy is heavily dependent on oil. We should diversify our production, like agriculture and livestock. With almost all agricultural production being rainfall, monitoring rainfall variability becomes imperative. This is very important. And then capacity building and enhancement of community coping mechanism. Last one, the current crisis has shaped future food insecurity risk, being anticipated as displaced communities have no access to farming. There's no doubt about this. People are on the run, so there's no farming. Even with any humanitarian assistance, yes, there is a humanitarian assistance, but imagine people are on the run, displaced. So there's no chance for people to cultivate. Will result, of course, in high mortality rates and extreme loss of livelihood assets. Now, what happens today shapes future famine risk 2015. Thank you very much.